started the recording and everyone is okay with that. Perfect. So we can now proceed.
Right. Thank you, Manuel. I think I'll start with a few slides to give the context, and then we'll follow up with Mona giving the demo of what I'll be presenting. So you will see the slide as leading and then the demo of the specific module that we're talking about. So as we told you last time, that our aim is to provide a one-stop shop digital infrastructure where all the data and all of the functionality and workflows will be available to home care providers, and it is AI powered, so that we would use the power of AI as we go into the future. So for now, we're structuring it to allow AI. The platform consists of 4 modules. The central dashboard is a module where most of the administrative functionality takes place, from creating care plans, monitoring, reporting, invoicing, setting up the profiles of caregivers, who is employed and who is an independent, and so on. The second part is a self-managed carer app, and this is the one that provides the carers with the ability of entering their information and seeing their visits. We'll come to the details of it, but this is how the caregiver manage their own activities and their own tasks. The third part is a client app that is age inclusive, that can be used either by the older person viewing and possibly also very intuitively adding care requests, or by the family of the older person, who in many times are the ones who are actively looking after the needs of the elderly person. And finally, a module that is an on-demand video recruitment app that allows to post for jobs, projects, single visits, and to receive a synchronous response, and to be able to view it, review it, and contact the candidates that are fit. So the first one that we'll touch on is the central dashboard, which is rich in functionality, whether it is creating and canceling, changing care visits, so the whole management of care visits, then the whole matching and allocating a caregiver to a specific visit according to criteria, monitoring the visits and activities and all the visits that are not allocated, for example, then looking at an individual carer, monitoring the activities of that carer, then looking at the specific client, issuing the invoices of that client, and then paying the suppliers for their services when they are independent. And then viewing the ratings, managing the reported issues that are a product of visits. Some visits would have a problem reported either by the caregiver or by the client, and then issuing the compliance reports and customizing all the settings. So with that, I'll switch to Mona, who will show how the dashboard works in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, so I'm taking over and sharing the screen. So this is a test account. We all see the dashboard, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. This one is in English, but in the settings section, you can choose various languages. You can choose German or other languages. And here, what we have is the landing page, where we can see a full report of all the upcoming visits that are happening. For example, this is the next visit that is happening on the 5th of March from 1 to 3 p.m. There's another one happening next week. Again, all of them are still tests. And to be able to actually understand who is the client, who is the caregiver that is assigned to a specific visit. Let me actually unfilter. And to see all the visits that are in the future, but also that have already happened. So for example, we now have a visit that is ongoing from 4 p.m. Romania time for 24-hour care. Then here we can see a full list of our care partners, the caregivers basically. To give you an example, the way this dashboard looks for our Romanian operation, we have basically a list of 150 caregivers. We can select which one does medical care, which one does cleaning, which one does personal hygiene. So it's a very easy way to understand the skills available, the cities in which they are present, and also all the visits that are allocated to them. And we have a mirror image for our clients. Very quickly, we can see the client name, all the visits, the city, the type of service, the cost, how much they paid for that visit, and what's the status of the visit. So pending means that we haven't yet allocated a caregiver, but the visit has been requested by the client. Of course, you can search, you can filter by date, and you can even choose to see other details in the
report.
The report, sorry. So yeah, this is just the statistics and allowing us to actually monitor what is happening, what are the ongoing visits. There's a second very used functionality, which is the one of scheduling the care plans. So we typically schedule a month in advance the care plans. So this is, for example, a test client. So for this client, we can start scheduling visits, let's say from the 6th of March. The visit starts, let's say, at 7 o'clock, and it's well, we can choose it to be a 24-hour visit, but we'll select the right services for that. And always for this client, there is a saved profile. It is the mom of the client. This is the location of his mom. The address is automatically populated. The medical care visits that are here, I don't remember now if you actually have medical care or not.
We have not, but not really a lot.
Okay, so anyway, well, you have the option of adding medical care, of course. And then let's say it's a 24-hour visit. Let's say there are 8 hours of companionship. There are another 4 hours of light cleaning. There are maybe 4 hours of shopping. This is 16. There's 4 hours for food. And I don't know. How many do we have left? 8, 12, 16, 20, another 8.
4 more.
Yeah. 4. Sorry, yes. So let's put 4 here and okay. I think it should be okay. Let me select these ones. Okay. Now for each of these services, I can add an explanatory note for the caregiver. So companionship, please discuss the news with my mom. For light cleaning, bath, the room and kitchen, please Shopping and payments, here's the list. Meal prep, you can obviously add whole details on the breakfast, lunch, dinner, personal hygiene, weekly bath. You can save this, and then we go next. Here is where we choose the type of caregiver and the type of visits that we want. So for this profile, the client prefers a female caregiver. Let's choose the same caregiver that they usually work with, which is, let's say, test caregiver. This is someone who's already been and worked with this client before. And let's say that this is a recurring visit that happens every week for the next, I don't know, 8 weeks. So for the next 2 months. All right. And then here we can edit the details of the profile. This is the mom. She's 67, 56 kilograms. She's fully mobile and she can be forgetful or confused. Now we go next. This is just a confirmation screen. Okay, starting 6th of March, address, 8 weekly visits. These are the services, these are the preferences. Now we can save these visits. And then all these visits will already appear here. So let's see with the 6th of March. Actually, let me do this. So starting 6th of March to, yeah, let's say 31st. So yeah, it's basically this one from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. So basically this is how we create the care plans for the clients that do not request their own care visits. And this is how we always check which ones are without a caregiver. So all these, for example, are still to be allocated. If I want, let's say for this particular visit, the first one of the series that we just created, I open the visit detail. I can change the schedule if I want, and I can automatically allocate a care partner. So I automatically receive a list of recommended caregivers based on the skills that they have. So I will only see the caregivers or nurses that actually perform all these care services based on that are in the location where the visit is requested and that of course are available. So I'll just click here, I'll click choose, and then the partner will already see the visit in their mobile app.
So I think, Manuel, we can spend another hour if you want on this, but I guess that you got the sense of it, and that this is also where we can extract a variety of reports and do the analysis and the analytics and paying the caregivers and looking at the financial aspects as a dashboard. So I'll move next, if you don't mind, to the next module, and that is the self-managed carer app. And maybe as we walk through the functionality, so we have the automated matching algorithm. The carer can view and accept the visit requests in a very easy and simple way. They can view the profiles and ratings of the customers that have asked for these visits. 15 minutes before the visit, they have the option of checking in until 15 minutes. And by the end of the visit, they also have a very clear button to check out. They fill in the visit report. They rate the client. If there was a problem in the visit, they report it. When there is a visit that is open and allocated to them with a specific client, as long as this visit is active or in the future, they can message and receive messages from these clients, and they can view reports including their income, how much they've earned so far, and what is the projected income till the end of the month. Are there specific features that you would like us to highlight in the demo so that we would be able to finish everything by the end of the hour?
Yeah, of course.
So do you have favorite features that you would like to see?
I'd like to see the recruiting app for the carer.
Okay.
On demand, and the client app. It's interesting.
Okay, so let's quickly, Mona, demo the app, how the caregiver sees things, and then we will move fast to the next apps.
Yes, let me share my mobile screen. Okay.
A native app or a progressive web app, or what is it?
It's a native app, as I understand it, right, Andre? Sorry, I'm just struggling here to share my mobile. 1 second, bear with me, please.
You can also join with your mobile. And
I cannot, Imad, because
okay.
I cannot join on the Teams, unfortunately. Let me stop the broadcast.
Andre?
Yes, sir.
I think Manuel was asking whether it was a native app, and you're the right person.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I think Mona already says it. It's a native app and no progressive web app or so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So what I wanted to show you about the caregivers, and this is truly a lifesaver for us. So all we do is we create the whole series of visits in the admin dashboard, and then the caregiver has two parts of their screen. So here on the top part, they see all the new visit requests. So they can see on the March 18, on March 20, and all the independent caregivers like the Gewerbe that you guys are working with, they can also quickly see how much money they will make for this visit. Of course, they can see who's the client. So of course, here there should be a client photo. There should be a number of visits that this client already had with you. What are their ratings of the past visits? So if you want, this is a digital care log that the caregiver can access. And they can see that this is a 4.9 out of 5-star client. And then obviously they can look at all the details that were mentioned in the request. And they very quickly press yes. And that's all they do to accept a visit. Sorry, I think my broadcasting, the broadcasting froze. I need to restart it. Let's start broadcast again.
Is there a possibility to do a documentation on the things the caregiver does?
Yeah, of course, there is a visit evaluation report, which includes all the services.
Is it
with
customized or is it
Hmm?
stable version?
Is it for me?
Can we customize that?
The evaluation report?
Yeah.
We need to check this one with Andre. so far. The thing is that I think once we customize for one, it's not at tenant level that it's customizable. We need to see what exactly you need to customize there, okay?
I think the question, Manuel, is do you have specific thoughts on your mind about the visit evaluation, the reporting?
Yeah, the visit evaluation depends on the law of the countries, I think. So you have different requirements in different countries.
Okay.
So here I'm sure that we can.
I think our preferred option would be to have a visit evaluation report that have some sections that are visible or not visible for some of the tenants. So having said that, I think it's in our advantage that we're building a very complete evaluation form to ensure that we're capturing specific information required by each country. So then if you would have some specific sections you will need, we can add that on top of what we have, and we can disable some of the sections we have. So I think it's, if you wish, let's call it a collaborative evaluation form.
So coming back to this, so all the new visit requests caregivers will add here at the bottom of the landing page. They see all the visits for today. And as Imad was telling you, there's a check-in button. I will just now press check-in. The client will automatically receive a message that the visit has been started at 4:23 p.m. And then the caregiver obviously will have a checkout button before the visit ends.
Meanwhile, is the visit, and in this time we need the documentation part.
Mm-hmm. So
during the visit, not at the end of the visit.
We have the documentation form at the end of the visit because we're assuming that people are very busy during the visit, and many clients would not like that their time is being used to document. So at the end of the visit, they have two options. One is to write a review. And this section here, actually, we're now developing the feature where it includes all the services in the visit, the feedback for each service, as well as the duration each service took, the well-being of the patient with some vital signs, the emotional well-being of the patient, how did the patient feel, and so on, as well.
Can we have a look on that?
Yeah, it's just that right now I personally only have it in Figma because Andre and the team are busy developing it. Let me see.
Just to answer your question, we can make it available even during the visit for specific tenants. So we imagine that it makes more sense to be filled in at the end of the visit, but it can be made available during the visit real time as well. So it's just a matter of when the visit evaluation flow is being kicked off on the mobile app.
That's no problem. That's just a question, but I'm interested in the documentation part.
Let me see. Handle. Visit evaluation.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm showing it on Figma is that we haven't deployed it yet. We're still working on some reporting for the evaluation flow. So it's not yet. It's 90% done, not yet deployed.
So let me zoom in. And yeah, I mean, we're always first developing things in Figma, and only after we all agree how they work and how they look, only then they actually go into development. right. And just a little more. Okay, so basically when they will press evaluate visit or fill in visit report, they will confirm again the check-in, check-out for the visit, and then they will go automatically into all the services, for example, companionship, meal preparation, personal hygiene, and they will need to fill in the duration as well as provide a written summary of what exactly did they do in the meal preparation. For example, what did they cook for lunch and so on. So if there are, let's say, 3 services, there will requested in the visit, there will be three areas here. If there's any discrepancy between the duration of the service and the total duration of the visit, they receive a warning asking them to correct the discrepancy. Then continuing to the physical well-being, and I think here it depends also a lot on the type of visits required, but there's physical well-being, some vital signs. Wait. Some are common. I mean, for us in Romania, we do usually check the temperature of the person.
Okay,
But
I found that we can go further.
yeah. Then you can also, they have a section to report if there has been any pain highlighted by the patient, and where exactly and what intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. For example, their eyes hurt with an intensity of 8 out of 10. So this should allow you and the family to be alerted in case there's an issue. Then they can continue to the emotional well-being. And the emotional well-being, they choose a state for their patient. The patient was happy, was scared, was angry, and then they can also provide some details as to why, as well as provide an overall rating for the visit. So the visit, they rated 4 out of 5. And again, they have the section to provide some detail, and then they send the evaluation.
How does this correspond to your expectations, Manuel?
Oh yeah, I have to think of it, but one question to this part: does the all the sections, the areas of the services, does it depend on the customizer's needs?
Yes, it depends on the services that have been scheduled in the care plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a care plan with a clear set of needs and services that will be performed depending on the client, and each visit will contain these services.
Okay.
If the needs are for personal hygiene, you shouldn't put eye injections in the visit, for example. Yeah. There's one more section which is important because it's a section where the caregivers can report problems. And this is, if you want, a complaint section, which goes only to the home care agency. For example, they complain, and these are customizable reasons. They can complain that what the client asked them to do was very different than the services that were scheduled for the visit. And they can select this, they can provide an explanation, and then they can just simply save. And then this is going to go into the admin dashboard into the complaints section. Okay. Last thing, sorry, for the caregivers. They can talk for all the live visits, they can talk directly to the client. And not only that, but there's a full log of all the interactions with that client: check-in, check-out, visits accepted, visit changed, visit rejected. So the client, the caregiver, and the administrator will have this access to the full log. There's no surprises for anyone. There's a section of all upcoming visits. They can always go and check the details of their future visits. There's a section with all the completed visits where they can go back and fill in the documentation we just saw. And very important for Gewerbe people, caregivers, there is a whole section of how much money they have earned and are about to earn. So for example, this one can go and see, yeah, it's a bit small, that in green, it's all the visits that they have already completed. In yellow is all the visits that they have already accepted but not completed yet. So they can see that this is their average income, and then they can even see for each visit how much they earned. And here we will have an invoice that will be issued soon on behalf of the caregiver towards the home care agency. And then here is the whole settings and details for them.
And of course, here the caregiver, they can set their own calendar, the days of the week when they work, the days they're available, and so on.
Yeah. Even preferences, for example, maybe they prefer to, so this is the schedule that they have, morning, afternoon, evening, and so on. Their preferred services.
I'm sorry, I think I stopped your sharing. I don't know if...
Okay, yes.
So there is a whole scheduling thing. If you're interested to see it, we can come back to it.
This topic, so I would like to go on at the other apps you are building.
Good.
Yes, so the recruiting, the on-demand video recruiting app. So this is a separate app whereby the recruiters in a home care agency, they can post, for example, a job, and then they can see the candidates that have applied to this job, and they can see if anyone has reviewed the candidate. So in this case, I'll show you the candidate list. So right now you can see the job description. It's very structured. You've got the title, the expectation for who am I recruiting for, who is the recipient of care. It's a female born in this year, speaks English, but also French, Italian, and Spanish. You can even add a photo of the person that will be cared for, because many times caregivers react better when they know who's the care recipient. You can add the personality. Our client is a lovely older woman with a keen interest in reading. She has a dog and she loves watching TV, listening to music, and gardening. Her health condition: she's bedridden, she's a non-smoker, she doesn't consume alcohol, she has hearing impairments and mobility problems, and she needs help with cleaning, shopping, laundry, bathing, changing other diapers, and personal care. She uses hearing aids and walking aids. And we are recruiting candidates that can be male, female, or any, who speak English and are non-smokers, who have experience as a nurse or assistant or a professional caregiver with minimum 5 years of experience. There's no need to have a car nor a driving license. They will be working part-time in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesdays, and they are expected to work 20 hours per week. And if you want, you can give a range of the payment that you expect to offer for this job. And you have also added 2 questions that you want candidates to answer. Why do you want to work as a nurse? And what do you think the daily routine for this job is like? So this is all the details that you have provided. Now this is a candidate that applied. So this is Mona, she's a 5-star candidate, and this is her answer to your first question. Sorry, let me see. The first question is, why do you want to work as a nurse? You go there and you can see what Mona answered. Yeah. Okay, so this is the first question. I can go to the second question and I can again look at her answer, and I can choose to see their contacts. I can call, email, or write in the app to this candidate if obviously I like the profile. Separately from this, you have access to, we'll provide you with 2 different apps. One is an app for your candidates. So what we would recommend is that you put a link to download this app on the website of the home care agency, encouraging all the candidates who want to apply for your jobs to actually apply using this. Right now, there is no active job for me. There is only this one, which I already applied for. And here I have as a candidate, I have the chat section. Here I have my applied job section. This is the active jobs, the ones that I am interested in, but I haven't applied yet. And these are the new job offers that I see. The purpose of this is to streamline the screening process for the home care agencies. And these apps have been developed together with a university and a small and medium company in Austria. So we developed it and tested with the University of Carinthia and Rapid User Feedback in Vienna. So I think in Austria, it has been tested with around 30 older adults, home care agencies, candidates that participated in the testing. And separately from this, we did the same in Romania and we did the same in Switzerland.
Mona, maybe it's worthwhile to also talk about the flow, and that is that the care agency can place the ad, or the customer of the care agency also, right?
Yes, I think here what we would recommend is that the care agency uses the tool to recruit themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the on-demand recruiting, and I'll take you to the client app. So you saw in the admin dashboard how we created care plans. You saw how caregivers accepted visits and they checked in. And this is what the client sees. Now, the client can be either the older person themselves, or it can be a family member. And what they can see is...
I have a question to the topic before. The Recruit app is a different app than the app where I can do documentation.
Yes.
Okay.
The recruiting app is different. It truly helps with the recruiting period. All the visit documentation happens through the other 3 apps, which are integrated.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah. This is used by recruiters. If you have an HR person in a home care agency doing recruiting, that's the user. The admin dashboard and the other apps are used by the administrators, by the ones who document the visits, who report on the visits, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start the broadcast again. In in Romania, for example, our co-founder Roxana is the product owner and the one who uses the recruiting app to attract nurses, to post new cases that we have, and to attract caregivers to work with us. And once we have all the paperwork for the caregivers done, because they work with us as independents, Then we bring them on to the other app and we assign them to existing visits.
Mhm.
So now we're going back to the real-time visits, no longer the recruiting. This is what our clients see. So the clients see for today, they see that this is the visit that is ongoing. Of course, before at the beginning of the day, they see that the visit will be done by Diana, who's our caregiver. There is a short description of Diana. In live settings, Diana will have a 4.7 out of 5 rating, and she has received a series of reviews from the other clients that she worked with, and these are all available to the new clients that she starts working with. And this is for us a way to build trust from the beginning. Of course, if a family member sees that the visit has started and is in progress, they can quickly call Diana if they have any additional advice to provide. The same way that the caregiver rates a visit once the visit is finished, the same way the client rates the visit. It's just that in the case of the client is not so thorough as the one that I just showed you. Is just tell us your opinion, and they can provide a 5-star for, let's say, 5-star rating, for 4.5 for companionship, and 5-star for the light cleaning service, which Diana performed. And then they can say, I love Diana because she was very kind and paid a lot of attention. And then the written message goes to Diana's profile and is available to other clients. Okay. And the same way caregivers can report a problem, clients as well report problems. They can report if the caregiver was late or left early. Again, this is fully customizable reasons, and then provide a few details here and then save the reported problem. Imad, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say that also from the client app, whether the elderly person or their family can also quickly set up a visit or request a new visit or set a profile for another person. So all that we've seen on the administration dashboard that the administrator can do, the customer can also self-manage. They can enter their own visit request or recurring visits.
Yeah, and it's all available on the landing page because we want to make it super easy to access. It's the same profile that you saw before. The mom automatically fills in, and then the client only needs to check the date and the time when the visit will start. Here, automatically it shows them if this is privately paid visit, like in your case, it automatically calculates the visit cost. And then obviously they can change any of the pre-saved settings. It's truly the same flow that I showed you. So I'm not gonna go through with it. But to also put it in perspective, in our case in Romania, half of our clients, they manage their own visits. They don't even involve us. They use this app to request and pay for visits. Our caregivers at the other end, they use their apps to accept the visits, and we literally need only to manage the differences.
And
So
it's the percentage of visits by caregivers, Mona, is quite impressive. I think it's worth sharing.
the fact that 95% of our caregivers manage their own schedule, accept their own visits, so we don't need to manually allocate anything. And this is, in the end, truly, it saves us 2/3 of these repetitive tasks of calling clients, agreeing on a schedule, making changes, calling the caregiver. It's truly a lifesaver for us. So yeah, then they have in the menu, they can always go and request visit. That's the hard part. There is a whole list of upcoming visits. So the clients have full access to their care plans. When a visit doesn't have yet a caregiver, it simply says visit to be confirmed. They have full access to all their past visits. They can go and finalize the rating if they haven't done so. And they have a whole section of chatting with the caregivers that have live visits. Do you remember when I told you there's a full log that the caregiver sees? The same log is available to the client as well.
And how how do the apps communicate with each other? Is there a API between it, or is it the same database? How does it work?
Yeah, they're sharing the same database, and there's an API that connects the admin with the backend and the two apps.
Mm-hmm.
And last thing, there's a whole settings section where a client can set up to 3 favorite profiles.
I have a question
Mhm.
to the topic before. So
Yeah.
the access is defined by permissions. The access as a carer, the access as a customer, the access as a service partner.
Yeah, so there are two types of data segregation levels. One of them is tenant specific. Every tenant is isolated in terms of data. So whenever they are logging in to the mobile applications, the clients and the caregivers, whenever they sign up, actually, so we start with the process, they sign up on the mobile apps, they are being assigned to a tenant based on a tenant code. And then whenever they log in within that specific tenant. Okay, so that's how we're assigning clients and caregivers to a tenant, and then each tenant have their own database and they are segregated from each other. So all the data is independent, tenant by tenant. Is like you would have your own application.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My last things here is just that there are a lot of details on the profile, on the billing details. If maybe you're invoicing a company, the client can actually fill in the name of the company that they want you to bill. Yeah, so there's a lot of confidentiality notifications, legal terms, language, and so on.
I think we can leave it at this point, Mona, and go back to Manuel and get preliminary feedback also to start bringing to conclusion and thinking of what next.
Yeah, I think I have to think about it. What are the possibilities, and what are the use case we can create with each other? As we said last time, of course, the area in that we work is the use case is maybe a little bit different than your business model in Romania. And because of that, I think I have to sleep 2 or 3 times over it and think about it. And we should schedule a meeting the next days, and maybe then I can say, yeah.
So, sorry, Manuel.
Can I say something, Demand? Because one thing that we haven't mentioned to Manuel is that the entire service catalog, this is something that you define. So what you saw here is examples of services. But if you have, for example, I don't know, your services might be just 5 services: personal hygiene, cleaning, meal preparation, and each of them has 2 hours plus duration. this is something that you set up when you onboard with us. The prices, of course, you set them up. Your working hours, the working hours of your caregivers, the tariffs that you charge per day, per night, per holidays and weekends. These are all things that you define when you do the onboarding with us.
I think the question I wanted to ask Manuel is, you're talking about different use cases. It would be very helpful for us to understand what you mean by that, so that if this is something that we didn't express properly, we can address it. And if it is something that we need to take into consideration, we also would like to know what use cases you have.
I think it would be quite interesting, Manuel, to if there's, top of your head, if there's a huge gap that you're seeing now without thinking too much about it. So something between what you're expecting for a product to do and what our product does.
I think a lot of units are different in our case. So you are very specialized on visits, visits from the caregiver to the customer. And in our model in Austria, there is a visit lasts 4 weeks. So the caregiver comes, it's 24-hour care. It lasts 4 weeks and then he go home. Between that, you do a lot of there are a lot of things they're useful. You already has built. Yeah, but in our case, the caregiver doesn't say yes to the visit because it's much more earlier. So and what is, I think I have another, how can I say that in English?
Sie können in Deutsch,
yeah. I have other experiences with people from Romania, Poland, and like that, that they are using apps like the way you use it. I think it's very, very hard to get them in an app, to get them to download the app. Also, I built my first apps and launched it in Romania about 2017. And my hard experience was that people in Romania have 5 apps on their smartphones. It's Facebook, Instagram, a Yahoo account, and the settings of the Android phone, like that. And it was very hard to do the onboarding part to get them into that. But on the other hand, there are a lot of agencies and professional services. They hire the people and they do the part for them. And if there is somebody who helps them, it works. But when you say on Facebook or Instagram, it doesn't matter, come and download my app. It's very helpful and you can get the job. I think it's a very hard business. So we have the experience to involve the agencies, the professional hire, the recruiters, and if they do it, it works. And if they help them to a very small use case with some apps, so like the documentation or like to see some documents or so on, then it works. Also, my experience is that digitalization is far behind. We would like to have it.
So
I think it's I share the experience. In our case, with the 150 caregivers we work with, Yeah, many of them they ask either someone in the family for help or they download it themselves. But yes, some of them would actually come to our office and we help them to download. And besides this, we have mini trainings. How do you set up your account? How do you do the check-in, check-out? How do you do the visit evaluation? So this will be available, of course, to you in German, so that you can share with the caregivers, of course. Yeah.
So I think there are things that we can respond to and things that would remain as a gap. So I think that we've been listening to you talk about 24/7 visits for a week and that they're planned in advance. This is a scenario that I look at my colleagues here is something the platform manages. It's just that when we were demonstrating, we were demonstrating on the more dynamic and the superset of use cases rather than a specific set. Am I talking correctly, Andre?
Mm.
Yeah, so I think these are just minor details. I mean, it's very easy to adapt to a 24/7 or even long-term visits. So that's simply a matter of doing some adjustments to make it work better for long-term assignments.
And I think here it depends on your agency, Manuel, whether you want to have reporting daily, whether you want to have a month of shift broken down into 30 visits. In the end, it simply takes you one more click to make 30 recurring visits or not. But this depends on the level of granularity that you guys need for reporting.
In fact, we have good apps for the use case in Austria that manage the things in Austria. But what we have is what we don't have is, and that would be a possibility for us together is what we don't have is good apps for hiring people. Also, I think about that. If it's it like that you said before that there are people which get help by you maybe and get in the app and do the hiring process and um, give in all data and then we push the data with a API to another system, and this system does the use case which is needed in Austria. That would be a possibility I would think about. We talk about to adapt your part, what is specialized on the Romanian business model with the visits. Then we start at nearby zero. So there is a long way that is I'm developing apps since 2015. I have a lot of experience, I think, and it's a huge way. So I think if we talk about how can we work together, we should talk about what are your which apps or which processes are very far developed and are very close to the things we need, and then make a cut and push the data to the apps that do that for 10 years and are developed by millions of euros. It would be the better way, I think, because the other way, that's a very far way. Also, I'm doing that at the last 10 years with 10 developers, and it makes no sense to do it or to change everything to do something that exists and works very well. So I think we should talk about this way. What can we use at the hiring process? What can we do at the maybe at the client's app, or that's something we don't have like that the relatives and clients itself go inside an app and see some data and like that. And I think it's also different in Austria and Germany. Also, we don't have any client that go on its own to an app store and downloading an app and show some data or watch some data. That's all done by the relatives. So
of course, yeah, for us as well. It's an app mainly for the family members, and at times family members install it for the older person, for sure.
it needs 10 or 15 years, then it maybe change. The next generation is.
So this looks like a good way forward. We talk about what are the points that our strength is that you see in the platform, and where is the point where we go to another app. That would be very useful for us also if you would be able to share at the point in time the apps that you have in mind, so that we would also get an idea and come to the next meeting informed. And then we look at what is the combination. Of course, Andre is the maestro, the orchestra maestro in that case. I'd be, and Mona would be interested to look at it from a business specifications point of view, that we would try and imagine how the business part can work. So if you'd be able to share that, that's great. I understand also that you need to turn things a bit in your head. That's great. And we leave it to you to propose the next meeting, or shall we already pencil it? Shall we already draft something now?
I think we should schedule a meeting.
Sure.
Maybe the 14th or 15th of March.
For me, it works.
15th maybe better.
15th. Will you be away, Mona, on the 15th?
No, on the 11 and 12, I'm away.
Okay, okay, good. 15 works for me as well. 1
So
p.m.
10
your
a.m.
time? I mean,
10 a.m. It's 11 in your time, or?
Yeah.
for me, it's 10 also, but yes. Okay,
Okay.
so 10 for us, Mona, 11 for Andre, and 10 for Manuel.
Yes, I'll send the Teams invite, because this gives us also longer than 1 hour. So then I'll send the meeting, a follow-up meeting, just to you, Manuel, or?
Yeah, just to me, and
Just
please the monitor
link.
there, that I can check the interesting things once again to prepare the next meeting.
Perfect.
Vielen Dank, hat uns gefreut und bis nächstes Mal.
Ja, dann bis zum nächsten Mal.
Thanks,
Danke.
Manuel. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.